All right. Let's see. So I think today I don't want to spin my wheels as much like I did on Monday. So I think I'm going to take a new approach to this. So instead of working in reading room, I'm going to switch projects and go pull in. Where is it? Oh, it's none of this, right? Oh no, here we go. Yeah, so go bring this in. Do I have that on my local? So this is a project I worked on a couple of years ago, just like trying to understand the cameras when I was originally prototyping this app that I'm building now. But this was back in Godot 3 when the C++ module was definitely harder to work with. And what do we have here for branches? Just the main branch. Okay. Do I even have it here? Let's see. No. No, I don't. Let's do git clone. Okay, and then cd Godot Android camera. All right, let's pull that over. All right, that's fine. All right, let's bring that into Godot. So import project. Let's go up a directory. Yep. Was last added on Godot 4.1. Okay, actually I did take a run earlier this year at it. Project will be modified. Yeah, let's move it over to 4.4. And then the library it uses. I think I didn't want to mess with the old library, but maybe I will. It's this. Last updated 2 years ago. And you know, it says it works for Godot 4.2. So let me see if I can get this working on my phone. I'll have to re-enable dev mode on my phone and give permissions and things. But if this works on my phone, then I can try that other plugin and use this as a test bed to confirm that that both of these plugins still work, and then two, that they both work for getting the camera on my phone. And then if that's true, then I can yeah, let's restart and upgrade. If that's true, then I can experiment with both of them, bouncing back and forth between the two plugins to figure out which one of them is going to work on the Quest 3. I did just see some articles saying that Meta has finally given permission for devs to put apps in the Horizon store. So before it was pass-through camera API was experimental, now they're actually letting people use it. So, hopefully if I can get this working and I can actually get access to the cameras, then I can move forward with the project. 3D, no, it is 2D. Right. Let me see now. Let me grab my phone. I mean, that just upgraded it. So does this work on my phone now? So I have this cable already ready to go. Instant access, everything you love in a mobile device. What is this? Phone link. No, you cannot do that, Microsoft. Thank you. I don't want to do that. Okay. Bluetooth and other devices. Okay, that's fine. I think I need to go into settings though on the phone. I would like to be able to cast my phone to it, the computer, but I'm not going to spend enough time debugging this device. I don't think it's worth it. Let me search for developer. Dev. Do I have an export set up for this? I don't. Huh? I could have sworn I had. If I go to... What is that? What if I launch the old Godot? Well, the project's already been upgraded. So, and it was never on this machine. So, yeah, that means if it's not there, if I don't have it saved. Gah, that's annoying. Okay. Fine, let's add Android. Let's make it runnable. Yeah. Plugins, Godot get image. Can I copy? It's a lot of files. Okay. I want to copy over. Oh, here we go. To here. Okay, and then let me check. Did I... Do I have this, the credentials for this written in a vault? Let me check to see what I've done. I thought I did for this time around. Or did I just go with vanilla? No. Yeah, probably not. Okay, but we need to do the Android build templates. Yeah, you know what? That's probably all I need to do. So that's installed. Let's save and then quit to project list. And I'm gonna go take a look at my other project real quick, just to see what the configuration is that I have set up there. So if I go to project export, okay, so I have it as a reading room. And there was no plugin for the other plugin that I was using. All right, that's fine. So now if we bounce back, that might work. And then fine. I'll just use common example. None of this matters. I probably need the camera permission, right? Yeah. Okay, I have one other thought, or it's either one other decent thought, otherwise it's just going to be a junk one, like password or something. Oh, I tried that, sorry. Nope. Really? Okay. So that's what it was. So now, while that's running, let me look into my phone settings, because I think I disabled debug mode for developer recently. Debug. Where is that? Storage battery system. No. About? I think it's under about, right? No. Security, privacy. More. So that worked. Android, developer mode. Where's the Android developer mode? Okay. Yeah, settings, developer options. Did I just miss it? Because I already did all this before. Okay, let's try it again. Maybe I disabled it. About phone. Where's the build number? Could have sworn I was already a developer. Settings, developer options. It's not here. Let's try that again. No need, you are already a developer. So I wasn't a developer before. I don't know where it's buried, but here we go. Godot, Android. Remote deploy. Where is the remote deploy? Editor settings, network debug. Editor settings. Network debug. Here's network. Remote host. Deploy with remote debug. Yeah. Let me unplug and plug this back in again. I should get the warning about enable Bluetooth. Debugging. USB debugging. There we go. Okay. Allow, and then hey, there we are. Boom. I knew it was going to be simple, relatively. Okay, we have it here. Get camera. Okay, get camera does nothing. Get image does nothing. That's all fine. Let's run this over to here. Let's unplug that. Let's just bring it over here. So I don't need to think. Let me put it on top of a book. There we are. Now I can just lean over and tap it, whatever. All right, so this isn't working. That's fine. Kind of expected it. So let's go look at the library. All right, let's drag this over here. Okay. Notes, starting in Godot 4.2, plugin build. Introduces new version architecture. This plugin is from now on build on Godot plugin 2. All right, let's see what we have here. Actually, let's do, there we go. So we have ls Android. So it's saying delete those two files. Project settings plugins. Okay, I didn't do that step. So definitely didn't do that step. It's not there. So let me assume then that what I have is old. Yeah. Android / plugins. Yeah. Star. Let's kill those and then let's grab the latest release. And we'll download the zip. Where is that? Let's do Android camera. Yeah, I'll just do it all here. Paste, and then extract here. Right, because the plugin style is different now. So if I do ls on Android, plugins, now it's there. It should be a folder because I think that's the new style of plugins. That's what changed. So now if I go here, the project's slightly refreshed there a second. Let's reload it. Warning. Detected another, right, that's an example, which I could delete. The plugin's not there. Let's do our export settings. What do we have here? So the plugin's now gone from here. Which might be okay. So he's saying extract, unzip the file in the release folder in your Android plugin folder, so it should be unzip the precompiled zip in the release folder. Make dir release. What? Godot get image plugin for Godot, your Godot version .zip. 2. Oh. Python script. Oh, I was experimenting with Python. Interesting. Okay. Android plugins to add-ons. That makes more sense. Yeah, because I didn't have to mess directly with Android before. It's saying nuke it because Godot's probably going to build new ones. That's probably what's happening there. Still not there. Project settings. Nope. To ls Android if there is no Godot get image release for your Godot version, you need to generate a new plugin AAR. Are there any issues? No, nobody's talked about it. The plugin should handle all permissions that is needed. Read media images. Let's see here. Was it read external storage? Okay. Let me just run this again. I don't think it's going to change anything. So he's saying oh, and then camera. Well, of course, yes, camera. Get image. No, those are both failing. And button worked, no plugin available. Camera cannot be taken. Okay, hold on a second. All right, so the plugin's not found. That's fine. You need to build it. Set correct Godot version by editing the Gradle file. I can't do this directly from in here, can I? Let's see here. Then build Gradle.kts. Find here dash name star Gradle star. Got an idea folder here. So we have app build Gradle, then build Gradle, blah, blah, blah. Compile the project. Fine. Dependencies, Kotlin version. So this is not here. Let's do grep minus RLS. We will look for Godot engine here. Okay, so he's basically saying you gotta probably go clone the repo, which he didn't say. To build your own, which I really don't want to do. Update this. I don't want to do this, but I guess I gotta. Let's do it. Suck it up and do it. All right. Git clone. Let's pull it down. I mean, I have Android and everything working locally, so worst case, I just don't have like the right version of what he was expecting with this being built. So he's saying vim plug. Gotta change over to that. Godot, get image, vim plugin. Godot. Project. Quit to project list. 441 stable. And then you're saying what is it? Gradle W. So far, so good. I expect an error in about 6 seconds. Most likely version of Android NDK not matching something or other. Or it'll just work. On successful completion of the build, the output files can be found in plugin demo. This will be amazing if this just works. I'll be very impressed. Largely to the credit of whoever made this library. Or I just coincidentally happen to have all the dependencies that are needed to build since I've been doing so much building lately of this nonsense. So far, so good. Hey, Galaxy the Foxon, how you doing? Taking a little side diversion. And instead of working on the reading room app that I've been working on, I am switching to just getting a demo of something running on an Android phone, because the issue I'm having is I can't get access to the pass-through camera API on the Meta Quest VR headset for the Quest 3. And I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's not a permission issue because I debugged all that on Monday. And it's possible it's like because Godot doesn't have native support for Android camera, so there are a couple of plugins that do it. So it's possible either there's an issue with the plugin I was using or an issue with how I was implementing that plugin. So now I'm just going to spin up a vanilla Android phone project. Hey, that build failed. No. And then if I can get that code working there, then I know back in my main project, however I have that plugin coded, should work. So that's what I'm messing with. Could not determine... Hold on. Could not determine dependencies of task. SDK location not found. Please define a valid SDK location. What is my Android SDK location? Echo $Android home. See, usually when I've done this, I'm running on this CD Godot get image. Why is it not auto-completing? Wait, what? Oh, did I put it in the wrong directory? God damn it. Well, fine. It's temporary anyway. I was like, why can I not find this path? I'll end up deleting this. I usually put things in a dev folder. Okay, echo Android home. Yeah. Let's do crep minus RLS. Pretty sure I have the path to that saved somewhere instead of having to go hunt it down again. Although I'm not opposed to. Really? Let's do docs. Oh, there we go. Export Android home equals go $Android home. now we can run it again. This version only understands SDK XML version up to 3. Was encountered. This can happen if your version of Android Studio and command line tools that were released in different times. That's just a warning, maybe? Parsing problem. But yet it continued on, so no big deal. Let's go build, build, build. Hey. Cool. So LS plugin demo add-ons. Plugins output files we found. Okay, so if I do add-ons, it has the example, but then there's like a release, right? Where he's got a bunch of different versions for older platforms. Okay, and then Godot example, but that's just code. This is just an example project, right? No, there's the plugin, Godot get image plugin. So up here he's got it, Godot get image. But then here he has it as Godot get image plugin. And what's in there? Just want to make sure I grab like the right things. I'm not like stumbling around. No, see, that's all. I guess I'll just have to trust him. Move minus RF, Godot, Android, add-ons. Well, you know what? We know it doesn't work, and it's a different folder. So I should be able to just do a plugins, demo, well, and take that to Godot, Android. Add-ons. And just move it there. And maybe now This will now work. There we go. Okay. Nice. Now let's run it on the phone. One thing I don't know is, does this use the Camera 2 API or not? But that's fine. I really just wanted to make sure I've got like proper debugging on the phone. While using the app, let's allow it to take a picture. I took a picture. We confirm. And then it crashes because it doesn't know what to do with the image. Yeah, await, get tree. Like, this isn't a thing anymore. Cool. So I think that works. The one question I do have is, let's look inside this. Is this using Camera 2? Godot engine, Kotlin. Camera 2. It makes passing reference to it. That's the only thing, is I don't know if this is even going to be... But that's fine. Let me go install the other plugin. Might as well. Like, I can install both plugins and then go from there. So let me just copy that real quick and search for Godot for await keyword not needed in this case because the expression isn't coroutine nor a signal. So it sounds like idle frame's just not a thing. Yeah, idle frame's not a thing. So he's saying process frame. But process frame's a signal. All right, that's fine. Let's run it again. I just want to see it. I need to physically see it, put an image on the device so that I can confirm it's actually getting an image. I have to hit the button twice for some reason. It says loading image. So it does create a texture rec, but it doesn't add it to the scene tree. So what did I change here? Oh, I started playing around with GD extension. Right, I'd already done the upgrade. Idle frame. don't I already have a Tesseract? Is that not a thing here? Got the buttons. No, it's there. So Tesseract is a thing. Wonder, does it work for like get image off the phone? No, it's not displaying anything. It's just doing loading image and then... Do I not have remote debugging on? Deploy with remote debugging. But that's not... Maybe remote debugging works for a minute and then it crashes. Okay. Oh, that's cool. When I click this, it shows it on my phone. All right. Clicking the button twice. All right, so I suspect we would do like on ready var my texture equals get node. How am I doing this? Switching back and forth is kind of a pain. So I'm going to do grep minus RLS reading room get node. Grep minus RLS get node or star get node star. Well, why am I doing grep? I can easily just hop over here. Yeah. Let's kill that. So this should be, what are you, a Tesseract? Oh, so it did like it. But when you do that, oh, it already does the autocomplete. Cool. So there's my texture. So if I actually do this like texture rect and then come down here, I get autocomplete power, right? Yeah. All right, let's run that. remote. Yeah, it's not working. By the way, what am I doing here? So, texture. Let's search for texture. And let's do path is star.gd. Is that colon? Your search is always really annoying. Okay. Okay, that's all within that add-on. I don't want it from the add-on. I want it from my code. I should be able to do actually minus on path add-on / star. Okay, yeah, so that all works, but I don't even need to do that because I have a few enough files that it should take me 2 seconds here. So where am I doing? Oh, let me change branches to this one where I pushed 2 days ago. All right, so then we do, and I'm not gonna be able to search against it because GitHub reasons. So if I do, let me just skim this again real quick. So I did a bunch of README updates. Okay, this was me messing with trying to get GD extension working, but I already got all that working separately, so I don't care. So it's really, that's fine. The scene I don't care about. The README doesn't matter for the moment. Okay, so it's really image plugin, callable set image. That's probably not right. That's why it's... No, actually, set image is getting called. Huh. Why do I have to make that a callable? So it is calling it. It says loading image. Where did I put foo? Probably oh yeah, the button. So all this is happening on like the root script. Why is it camera 3D? Should be camera 2D. Just to not be confusing. All right, so that worked. This await seems to work. create from image. Texture dot create from image. Right, doesn't want a value anymore. And then the thing I wanted to look at was what am I doing on my other code base? I don't think it's this file. Yeah, that file is very simple. It is the probably game state is where I'm like, no. How do I know? Oh, here we go. OCR manager. This is where I'm doing all my experimenting right now, even though it's getting ugly and messy. Okay, so here is where I was creating things. But I don't think I was doing that, right? So we have camera texture. Camera texture get image. On permission result, I was just doing a quick thing here. But that's to get the feed. So that's a camera texture that I'm using here. What is he using as an example? Get camera image. Doesn't he have like an example? I thought. Demo. Main.gd. There's our image scene. The plugin name. Okay, let's just step through it. If engine has singleton, plugin name. Plugin is get singleton. Engine get singleton. Okay. If we have it, then we connect. Permission not granted. Yeah, I just need the image plugin.connect. Image request completed. Let's just get rid of this callable. Something I hadn't had to do this before, so I don't know why I did this before. Yeah. Okay, so in theory, that's all I need to do. Oh, by the way, there were errors, weren't there? Couldn't open the script. Ooh, interesting. So we connect that on ready. And then what do we have here? Oh, so he just got as a goal scene, clicking things. So when it's done though, on image request completed. Set image, and we do get a dict. This is purging old images, that's fine. I mean, I could just copy this project over and run it. I just was trying to understand a little bit. Image buffer. So image is an image buffer. So saying create a new image. Image new. Gotcha. So he's doing it from a buffer. Which I was doing too. I just called, yeah, current image, load JPEG from buffer. Cool. Well, we could do var error. I could do if error is not equal to okay. Print failed to load from buffer. And we'll just put the error out there too. But that's just going to be a number. It's going to be an integer, so it's not really going to matter. So he's got a whole image scene. Okay. So image. So he's okay. So he's doing a like image node. That's a scene. So it's a whole scene, and the scene itself has a texture. Does that mean its root node is probably an image texture? And then he's adding the child. He's adding a whole scene as a child. Image texture.new.create from image. I mean, it's the same thing I was doing. But he's not doing this await. He's just, well, he's doing other things that probably affect an await, but just give it another shot. Let's run that again. All right, no errors. Now we have an error. Command Q execution present. I don't know what that means. Invalid type in function. Create from image. In image texture. Cannot convert packed byte array to object. Converting image to texture, huh? Tesseract.texture. Create from image. Yeah, but that's not what I'm doing. Was it Godot? Image texture packed byte array. What is a packed byte array anyway? I've come across this before. Right, so it's like a compressed thing. And that's, you have to decode it. I did something like this, right? I do need to set the plugin options. I think I do need to do that. But let me stay on task here for a second. No, not decode. I did do something with a packed byte array before. Decompress and code, get string. Right, okay, this was because it was a, that's, I remember now. It wasn't an image I was dealing with. It was string values that it was compressed. Squash the binary. How do I read? What is the error? So it's cannot convert. Object. Pack data container. All right, let me make sure I'm setting the options real quick. So on ready, so we connect. My options are image height, image width, keep aspect, format, set options. Yeah, so all that should work. Nothing else here. Everything here is vanilla then. The thing is, he does have this other scene He's adding a child to it. But that's the only GD script he has, so his scene is a Tesseract. Yeah. So it's just a very flat Tesseract. So on ready, he's getting it. He's getting that thing. So I'm doing the same thing. What is VBox container images? Gotcha. So he's getting his current thing. Well, so the one question is, why was it kind of sort of half working before? So now if I run this again, does like just the waiting kind of sort of help it? Versus the, like this is the same thing. So I'm doing like a new image texture, creating it from an image. Oh. Oh, I'm being dumb. That's what I get for just straight up copying and pasting. Yeah, so this is what I had to do. I had to load from a buffer. So it's that. And then I don't need this. Like this is literally what he's doing. And then literally the only other step is adding a child, which I didn't think I had to do, but maybe there's just something. No, there we go. No, it works. I don't know. So what did I change? Okay, cool. So it works. It's a very pixelated image, but and if I take a picture, hey, it works. Cool. And let me up the resolution because I want to be able to just at least see something. All right, so this code works. And then let me get the other code working. Let me just take a stab at having the other version of the code working. And if that works, then I know I've got like versions of this logic that work. So if I grab another image, it's better. Here, let me do 600 by 300. That way, like at least the image is actually viewable to myself. Because before it was a pixelated mess. Wow. Hit it, hit it, hit it. Great. So that works. Now, let's get the other plugin pulled in. So this is all good. This plugin's usable, and I might be able to use it. And it works in Godot 4.4. Let's kill that. I'll keep this up just because I know it works. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. This I want to keep up. This I also want to keep up, just because I know it works. And then, what was I searching for here? Oh, this is from other work I was doing. Don't need that. The packed issue's gone. Right. Process frame. Now we got the camera server. And instead of copying and pasting my own code, which I know doesn't work, let me try bringing this in vanilla and like re-go through the steps slowly. So that's the compile guide, right? How to use. Not active in Android. Yeah, nothing changed there. So what do we got here? Will be available once the plugin's loaded. So I should be able to get the release. And for this again, I'll do the same thing I did before. Let's go to Dev, Godot Android Camera, add-ons. Let's do another file explorer. Where's downloads? Extract here. Let me delete that. Delete. Sorry, I can't really see what I'm doing. That's also can go away. Delete. And this was from let me delete that. All right, that's all good. And then in here, there. So now we have the camera server extension. So that is let's do if not. Sorry, okay, so I'm just trying to wire this up. And we'll just pass here for a second. identifier camera extension. So it's a typo in his docs. Which also tells me that he wrote this up, but he didn't. This isn't the actual code that he copied from a demo project or him running it. He literally just typed it out. So on permission result, connect on permission result. And it's going to have granted. Do shift tab over a couple times, and then let's tab it in. Else. Okay. And then we should just so he's saying connect the signal, request permissions. And then how did I have this before? Get gallery selected. Where am I even wiring that up? Oh, because it's these buttons, right? So if I go 2D, that's a button, and it's a signal. Get gallery selected. Got you. So I've got these two buttons. So I'll probably just mess with the other button. So let's go to scripts. So actually that's, what is that? Get camera. Fine. If image plugin. Oh, image plugin's declared up here. And false. So we won't have image plugin. So what I'll do then is camera server feeds. We'll do, you know what, we'll do var call it camera plugin equals false. And for this, we'll do an else. And you know what? We'll even do then camera plugin true. Camera plugin equals true. Else camera plugin equals true. A little overcomplicated, but I think it'll be fine. So if the camera plugin's true, we can do elif camera plugin and do our logic here. In both cases, I'm just going to do the same logic. And we'll call it, you know what, let's just do it this way. Func run camera logic pass func. Let's there. So now run camera logic is just going to be, let's just print, see what we got. Checking cameras. So now in theory, if we have the permission that we need, I'm just going to see a log statement with the number of feeds available. So we have permission. It says button work, no plugin available. Let's see here. On permission results never called. Print. Calling for permissions. Print. Permissions already granted. And then we have other log statements. So we're just never... I think we already have permissions. So then why... Am I asking for permissions twice, maybe? Calling for permissions. Should it be like os.get per grant permissions? Yeah. Request permissions. Which is what I was doing on my other project. And that worked, in case there was other permissions that were needed. Because then it would request multiple permissions. And under the hood, I think this request permission is just doing the same thing. It's just calling. Calling for permissions. This isn't triggering. So I think this is the issue I ran into before. So I think now, I mean, this is good to some extent. It's forcing me to work through my issues. Because I think when ready is finished, this thing's gone, right? So it doesn't exist anymore, so there's nothing wired up. That's finished. Let's push that over there. Switching to water. Permission granted. Yeah, see? Now we got to here. So if I hit that, and now we have cameras. Okay. So what is a feed then? So this is where I could probably go back to this code here and see what I have. Actually, instead of doing it here like this, because that'll be hard to view, let me just go look at the raw file from the branch and then okay, so yeah, there's what I'm doing with camera extension. Doing the permission granted, connecting it up. All that's working. The result We're requesting permissions, although I'm doing the actual OS version of that, which also works. Although, now that I mention it, I can experiment with switching back to the other one. Oh, why is this all indented weird? Right, so we get our feeds. So I should be able to just get the 0 with feed. Right. So here's where I'm going to work. Camera feed in this case is, what is camera feed? We'll just make it a var camera feed. And I think per his docs he's saying, well, he's just calling it feed. Let me just use his logic. So it's saying this will work because we're not setting its type. I hear an owl. There's a loud owl outside, even though it's middle of the day. So, okay, so then var feed, get feed 0, that should work. Okay. Format change, I'm just doing a thing. So set format, I think this is needed for Android. I saw something about that. All well and good. Then we set the feed active. And then we get a texture. So where's our texture? My texture. That's the texture rect. Right. So far, so good. Please tell me this works. If this works, like, at least it tells me, like, kind of what's going on. We set the feed ID. What is camera display? No, but in this case, I'm not doing anything 3D now. I'm doing 2D Android, so this is all simple. This is enough for me to test. Let's just go with it. And it loads much faster than the Quest headset, so at least... Invalid assignment. My texture dot it doesn't seem to have a feed ID. Okay, let's go to 2D view then. This is there. And by the way, I know all this is small. but its texture's empty. And I know I'd done like a camera texture. I've done something like that before. It's okay that it's empty. So this is flexible. So this really shouldn't matter. But that's if it's a camera feed. So if I add a Tesseract and I rename, call it cam feed, and let's make it a camera texture. And then here we'll do onReady var cam feed is a texture rect get node, and we'll do cam feed. I am on Windows, not MacBook. Dot camera but that's not going to work. Cam feed dot doesn't have a feed. Maybe this is the issue I'm having. So maybe I don't even want to do a feed ID. So let's go back to basics then. Let's do Godot camera server. Let's just go look at camera server. And let's go walk through it. So feeds, get feed is going to be a camera feed. What's a camera feed? Okay. It has activate feed, get ID, get name, get RGB image. Void. No, set RGB image, right. Properties is active, transform, formats, activate, deactivate, get data type, get name, get position, get texture text ID, and set. A camera feed gives you access to a single physical camera attached to your device. A camera feed gives you access. See also, many cameras return, which are split into two textures. Note. Oh, right. But I'm using a plugin for this, so Godot get image from camera feed. So I have feed, get name, feed, 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 Feed is active. This is a whole material thing. Yeah, this is an example I've seen before. How to capture an image. Yeah, this is the... Did I watch this video? I think I may have watched this video like a long time ago. Advanced Godot, import photos with the Android camera. Companion written tutorial. Yeah, that's the Get Image plugin. ADB. Create the Godot project, hookup and coding the plugin, exporting and testing the plugin, sure, fixing the issue and testing it again. Fixing texture scale issues. Oh, but this is that plugin. This is specifically the plugin I've already used. Yeah, this isn't going to help me. Camera texture. This has a feed ID, but that is the camera texture, my texture being different. What is camera texture? Is a new camera texture. Right. So in theory, I should be able to do this. And let's check that. Dot camera feed ID. That has a feed ID. And then cam feed dot texture equals our camera texture. That might work. Allow permissions. Oh, I got a random little... Oh, I didn't position the texture. Okay, fine. And that works, actually. That just straight up works. It's literally taking over everything, though. So then, if I position this here... I save that, and then if I rerun it. So that worked. That actually succeeded on Android in getting the whole feed. While using the app. Allow all. Click the button. And actually, okay, cool. Now I'm expand mode. Fit. Let's go fit height. Oh, cool. It changes immediately on my phone. That's sweet. Fit with. And it's super choppy and slow. The feed's only updating every like second, but that works. Great. So now I have code examples of, well, actually, can I just get a single image? So I don't want the feed, really. I just want a single static image. And oh yeah. Let's set it to 1 here. And if I rerun this, I mean, this is useful for me as now I've got a playground where I can experiment with these libraries on Android. So that's what I wanted to accomplish today. Which now means like if I've got some code and it's not working on my main project and I want to understand, you know, what the deal is. I can experiment with this now. Instead of fit width, let's do keep size. Ignore size. Does that then mean if I come over to 2D? I don't know why this is, it's so much, like you'd think this was the phone size, but it's not. I'm probably doing something basically wrong here. In fact, if I go like that, actually, let's just make it obviously bigger and rerun it. Leaf episode. How's the books? The books is not going well. So I've got a VR app that I've built, and I'm trying to do OCR on images coming off of the VR headset. And so that's tying into the brand new Meta Quest camera API that they just exposed a few months ago. And actually, as of like the last couple of days, they finally are now letting devs actually put apps in the Horizon store that uses the pass-through camera. All the demos out there are for Unity, because Unity and I think maybe Unreal have support for it right away. Godot doesn't, and that's largely, I think, just the fact that like Godot hasn't implemented camera on Android yet, and the Quest under the hood is Android. And so what I'm doing right now, the issue I'm having is I think I was getting permissions correctly. So I was asking for the right permissions from the Meta Quest to get the pass-through camera API access. But I'm getting black images, and I don't know why. So I spun up a quick Android phone demo project here, and I'm testing 2 separate plugins. One that I'd used a couple years ago, and this new one that I was using recently. Here, let me finish this while using the app, allow permissions, and then if I hit the button, okay, that works. In fact, let me expand this a little bit bigger. And save that. So I was testing these 2 plugins. One of them is Camera Server Extension and Godot Get Image. And those 2 plugins are, so actually let me kill that. I don't need this anymore. Camera feed, yeah. At least not for the moment anyway. So here's the one plugin. This is the one that I'm currently using in the VR app. Godot Camera Server Extension. This is from a month ago. I know the dev for this is actively contributing to Godot to bring Android support directly into Godot. But until Godot bakes that in, you need this plugin to get Android support. And this is the one I've been using in my VR app, and this is the one that's not working. I'm getting black images, and I don't know why. And then a couple of years ago, I had done a little Android demo when I was preparing for this project that I'm working on now, using this plugin. So this is the other plugin, Godot Get Image plugin, and that definitely worked before as well. And it does at least support 4.4 in theory, which I actually can confirm. So I just now got this plugin working on my phone, and earlier this morning I got this working on my phone. So now both plugins work on an Android phone, for getting an image. This one I actually have it grabbing the whole video feed. Although now I'm going to try to have it just grab a still image because I don't need a whole complicated thing. I just need something. And I just need like still images, so I'm not looking for a video feed. So now that I got these both working on my phone, I can then switch back over to my other project, my main project, and then experiment with both these plugins to see which one of them is working, or at least knowing then that I've at least written my code properly, and that if there is an issue, the issue is somewhere else, right? In theory, I'm asking for the right permissions, and I've got correct code for tying into Android's Camera 2 API. Then like the problem is, somewhere else basically. That'll at least narrow down where the issues are. You're pulling direct camera feed into Godot. Yeah. So if this is just like a simple 2D setup. I actually have a Tesseract there. So instead, let me just stack these. Why overcomplicate this? And then this one, I'll bring it down a little bit. I don't even need to see the whole thing. I just need something that looks right? Fine. Doesn't even need to be perfect. This is just for prototyping. Yeah, so I have these Tesseracts on my phone, which I don't have my phone streaming to the PC right now, just because I was spinning this up super quick, and I'm not going to be working on this long term for the Android phone because I'm switching back to VR, which in VR I do have that streaming the feed. But you can trust me when I say that when I launch this, I'll hit save because I'm going to retest this again real quick. When I launch this, it'll kick it out to my phone, and then when I click the button, for the one plugin, it's bringing in static images, still images into this box here. For the other one, it's bringing in a video feed into this camera feed here. Let me allow permissions, and if I click the button, yep, video feed still works. So all that's good, all that works. The one thing I want to try to do now is not make this a video feed, but can I grab still images from this other camera? And then also, what do the feed details look like? If I do print, and if I go back over to my other code. Hold on 1 second. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, this print statement. Let me just bring that in. So that is going to just print out the feed details of the feed I'm grabbing the first feed. I don't need this. And that'll just gives me some details. Right now when I run this on the Quest 3, feed ID is 1, name is 1, position is 1, which is doesn't quite feel right. This set format doesn't seem to matter, although I did hear from comments on the plugin from issues that someone left that if I turn this off, excuse me, that should break things. That'll actually, it'll stop working. Let's confirm that on Android, if you don't set the format, it doesn't work. Correct. Doesn't work. The info here, so camera is 1, name is 0. Okay, so maybe it's not unheard of for this to have ugly names to this. Every example I've seen online when people do this, when they look at the camera feed, it's always like, oh, it's the name of the webcam and the brand, it's by Anchor or whoever it is. So for whatever reason, I'm just getting numbers. I'm not getting descriptive information about the camera. And confirmed, this has to be enabled for the thing to work. So now the question is, can I get... So this is a camera texture. So that's a camera texture. So I need a camera texture for a camera feed. Okay. And then we're setting the feed ID. But can I just get a still image instead? So for that, Yeah, that's Godot camera feed. Let's just go look at that again. This is what's really weird to me, is the docs here on this. It's like they tell you it's a feed, it gives you access to a camera, but then all the methods on it are like what? Like I can call this method and get an integer, I get a boolean, I get feed position, which is an enum. How do I get an image, right? Like nobody's really giving a clean answer on that. Godot camera feed get, and what do I want? It's probably just texture. Texture. See, that's camera texture though, but and again, camera texture. Well, let's see here. This texture gives access to the camera texture provided by a camera feed. Many cameras supply. So maybe it is what I want, and I just need an image, which feeds 0, camera feed ID is active. Now, over here in this code, I was setting it to true. Seems like that's probably not necessary. Okay. But I don't want that. I just want... What do I want? I want... That's image texture. That's what I'm using, right? Camera texture, image texture. Okay. Image texture. Godot image texture. And actually, I'll you know what I'll just do? I'll go to GitHub search. And I will search for image texture. And camera server. Path is star.gd. So that should just give us GD files, yep, that are using both of these words. Create from image masked image. So this is promising. And we want on that update. No, that's not. There we go. Global masked image updated. Image texture, create from image. All right, but what about the feed? Oh, did it click on it? That's annoying. Selected camera feed. Selected camera feed is a camera feed. Set format on the feed. That's fine. Set active. Emit frame change deferred. Frame changed. What's frame change going to be? So both works. I probably should you know what? Let me run it one more time, make sure it works, and then commit the code. Just to make sure that I don't break, that when I break something, I can always go back to working state. Yep, there we go. So Here we are. CD Godot. Godot 4 plugin experiments. Git add dot. Why not? I'll normally do that. Wow, that's a lot. Okay. Fine. Git commit. Woo. Git commit dash m. Both plugins seem to work. One video only. And then git push origin Godot 4.4. And then over here, there we are. It's like, shouldn't I be getting an alert there? Testing both plugins on 4.4. Cool. So now I got my backup copy of my code. I can then make whatever changes I want and not be afraid that I'm going to break anything. Right, so above works. Now what I want to do is change feed. Right, the feed, what's the feed got? Frame changed signal. Dot. Yeah, but so what are you doing? Global dot emit frame change deferred. So your selected camera is set camera feed ID. And it's all managed right here. All right, you're probably not what I want. That's everybody? What are these files? Possible permission. Okay, maybe that's literally the only one that I can work with, because all these other ones. Fine, be that way. So global, that means I'm gonna have to go up a directory. Or I'm gonna have to like search for it. So disconnect, connect. Let me just search the project. Scripts global, here we go. Emit frame changed, call deferred, frame changed dot emit, signal frame changed. Interesting. Okay. Frame changed. So that's that. Global frame change connect tracker. So it's this one. On frame change. Tracking mode. Keys. Semaphore post. Oh my lord. What the F? That's it? So on frame changed. Semaphore is a thing. Great. So what are you doing? You're doing a camera feed. And I searched for image texture. Okay, well, this is not helpful to me then. I can't use this at all. So I'm back on my own. So, image texture. Godot camera feed get still image. Take picture. What if you just take a picture? Can you open it? Well, actually, so there was this example here, right? But what is he doing? He is doing feed. Feed is active. And then he's setting the feed ID. So he's doing the same set feed ID thing. In this case, he's just doing it to a shader that's on a thing. Camera server. You know what? It's probably not a feed then. That's probably the issue. So feeds, get feed, remove feed, but those are methods. Add feed, feeds, camera feed. Maybe not then. So the camera server only works with feeds. It's just always a feed. Everything's a feed. Device access. Yeah, see, you're not really... Take photos in-game and add them to... Yep, doesn't really tell me anything. Get a photo from the scene. Yeah, okay, fine. Nothing's really helping me. Maybe I gotta figure it out myself. So... Camera texture is a texture provided by a camera feed. Note, many cameras supply images. Property is active. I just need a image, right? So what am I trying to do? What is my ultimate goal? Let's go back to, let's take a step back and think about what I'm actually trying to do here. So Yeah, where are our images? Right, here we are. This is where I want to be. So but the thing I actually want is image is Godot image. Native image data type contains image data which can be converted to an image texture. So I'm back to the original thing I was talking about, which is I have a camera feed and I want an image texture. Can be converted to an image texture, but really I don't even want an image texture. I just want an image. That's actually true, because I'm not trying to display the camera data. I mean, for debugging purposes, I'm going to display the camera data in the app. But once that's working, I just need to get an image and either save it to the file system, or hopefully not, just keep it as an in-memory file object and pass that down to my GD extension that does OCR. Which is currently coded to load from a file, but I would like to switch that to be handling in-memory file objects instead. So what I really need is, I don't want camera texture. Camera feed, get image. Or get image from camera texture. Something like that. Whatever that daisy chain looks like for me to pull this out. What time is it? 12:40. Let me just make sure I'm still good on time. I am. Okay. So, let me take a look at image real quick. Native image data type contains image data which can be converted to a texture and provides common used image processing. An image cannot be assigned to a texture property of an object directly and has to be converted manually to an image texture first. Godot image from image texture. Or, better yet, camera texture. Well, let's take a quick look here at camera texture, because I know I have one of those. Has a feed ID, is active, which feed? Okay, let's look at image, because I know image has a ton of properties, so maybe I can create an image from something else. Properties. Data, okay. Methods. Adjust, bind, blend, blit, bump, compress, compute, convert. Convert can be interesting, but probably not. Converts the image format, C format. Copy from. Copies source image to this image. create. Creates an empty image of a given size and format. See format, if use, then generate. Fine. Isn't that already the same thing? Creates a new image when given a size and format. See format. Fills the image with the given raw data. If so, if there's a packed byte array. Okay, crop, decompress. Ooh, crop is useful. Later on, that'll be useful. Detect used channels, fill, flip, generate, MIP maps. Pre-calculated lower resolution copies of the image that are automatically used if the image needs to be scaled down. Okay. Get data. Get data size. Is compressed, is empty, is visible. Load. Loads it from a path. Load from buffer. So a packed byte array. Load from file. Right. Load different types from buffer. And I've used load JPEG from buffer. To be fair, how else was this logic done? Set image, get camera image. How is that library doing it? What is your logic? That's the demo. Kotlin. Okay. I haven't really messed with Kotlin much. Gotcha. So get camera image. That's, you get super low level right away. So he's not even getting a feed. He's just straight up doing whatever it is he's doing. Okay. Resize, rotate. Save JPEG. Save, set. Okay. That's an image. Camera feed. To the camera texture provided by the feed. Properties. Godot camera texture to image texture. Or I'll settle for what's the difference between the two. Versus. What's the difference? How the image is imported. There are two different types of textures that can be used in a game. The image texture is a texture that is created from a loaded image file. It's a static texture, meaning that it cannot be modified at runtime. Display images in 2D sprites as backgrounds or as textures on 3D models. that's generated dynamically from a stream of data is often used to display video or webcam input in a game. Unlike image texture, this is older though. I'm not really using a stream texture, although do I have access to a stream texture? Is that a thing? There's our camera feed. I was using camera texture. Stream texture doesn't seem to exist. So they may have just renamed it or repurposed it. But then we have an image texture. New viewport. This means that the texture can change dynamically, allowing for real-time video input. In summary, the main difference between is that the former is a dynamic texture that is generated from a stream of data, while the latter is a static one. Credit ChatGPT. So you generated this from GPT. Joy. Okay. Camera texture and a sprite. Camera texture, save image. How to save a texture as an image file. Hi. How do I save a texture as an image? Here's my code. On the image var first. So that's the texture. So if we have our camera texture dot get get image, right? Okay. And then we do what is it? Fine. I'm not going to rename things. Not yet anyway. I don't really care. My texture dat. Texture. Wait, what? No. Did not ask you to do that. Dot texture equals, and that's not going to work, which is fine. What I need is, so now I have an image. Var image equals that, and then var image texture equals new image texture dot from create from image. Starting to get the hang of this. Image texture. Now if I run it, what I might see is the video feed plus like a still image just thrown onto the display in the one spot. Yep, allow all permissions. Yep, that worked. The only issue is I had to hit the thing twice. So actually, where's this little wait thing that I had? Let's bring that back in. Didn't I have a sleeping step here somewhere? Like waiting a frame? Where is that? I didn't delete it. Did I? Or did I comment it out? Here we go. So maybe this happened too quickly. Let's do that. Let's run it again. And then I wonder if I can just turn the feed off. So then that way, like, the video feed isn't running all the time and eating up extra processing, which I don't need. That didn't work. Let's go back to my code here. Don't I have like a whole extra delayed sleep thing here somewhere? Yeah. And let's set it to, yeah, let's go crazy. Oh, and then let's do feed is active equals false. Let's see if we can like turn off the feed. And that might help with performance. Right now I'm just experimenting, understanding the bounds of what I can and can't do before I just immediately go hopping back over into the VR app and trying to pull in the lessons learned that I have from here. While using the app, allow all, permission. Oh, and it crashed. Let's try this again. This time I'm not going to like hit the button 5 times and break things. Press the button and then wait 5 seconds. Oh, we crashed. Let's set that to 2 seconds. Let's turn off that telling it to stop. Okay, so this does work. If I set that down to a low level 0.5, and then one other experiment I'm going to try while I'm here is let's flip how we're asking for permissions. And run that again. That was too fast. So I do need to wait like a second, it seems. And then this, so feed. Turn off the feed. Can I do that? What if we did cam dot texture equals none or null? And then we turn it off? What happens then? I should just ask this question. Godot, turn off feed, camera feed. That kind of worked and then it crashed again. Camera 2D, how to turn off. All right, well, that's kind of, I'll let that be a problem for another day then. This feed is active, false. That might be killing something. What if I just set it to null? And that worked. So it at least is, like, it at least clears out the texture. And then, I don't know, what if we waited 3 seconds and then killed it? Like, our feed is what? Where's our feed coming from? Where's the feed? The feed is camera server get feed. The feed should be dead after this function anyway. I don't want to waste too much more time on this. Nope, that crashed it. So it does just seem like trying to turn the feedback off is not going to work. What about camera server? Camera server dot new, add feed, camera feed added, removed, feed image, feeds, get feed, remove feed. Oh. Feed. What if we did that? And it crashes again. Sweet. Camera server dot. So remove feed, add user signal, call, cancel free. What does that do? Internal function used area. Okay, yeah, fine. Oh, disconnecting a signal. Right, sure. Get meta, get has. Free. Deletes the object from memory. That's probably going to crash things. Probably the other things I was doing, like deleting it or setting things to null, was probably going to... Nope, crashes again. And then just for the heck of it, let's run that. While using the app. And it crashes again still. And then the last thing I can try is... It is a camera texture, right? So camera texture dot get resource set fine, let's call free on that instead. And then we also have feed.free, probably, right? But let's try this one first. I mean, setting it to null, that seemed fine, right? Attempted to free a ref counted. Couple more tests. It's a quick enough test that I don't really care. And while using the app, hit the button. So feed equals null That worked? Okay. Now what if I like hit the button again? Is it gonna like get me a new image? That works. Now I don't know from a profiling standpoint. I mean that'll be something to worry about later. But so the question would be, is the camera feed still running? Is it eating up memory? Blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to call this a huge success. So I'm going to stop here. These will crash things. So I need to wait a second before I can get an image from the texture. So we need to feed the feed to like kind of warm up for a second. But that actually probably means what? Well, what do we have? We have camera texture dot on was it frame? Camera feed ID is active, which, okay, draw, get height, changed. Yeah, let me see what other signals it has. Set up local to scene requested. Property list changed, script changed. Changed. Usually when one of its properties modified. either way, well, there's also what? Cam feed dot cam feed dot, where's our signals? Let's just scrub through real quick. Fine. The point is, instead of doing this ugliness, waiting an arbitrary random amount of time, we could probably signal off of something and then grab our image, clean up. But again, that's assuming I can even get this far on the VR side. So the next step is to save all this off, probably push this all to GitHub. Well, not probably. I'm going to do that right now. And then switch back over to VR. So that way works for still images as well now. And then we'll do a git push origin. Cool. So that's all backed up. Works on still images now. Gross with 183,000 files changed. I should have probably excluded the Godot file. Add-ons clear out. All right, this is not as useful. So what I would probably do is, well, anyway, I'll leave this here like that. Anyway, I've got the file, so I can go take a look. So yeah, next step is going to be switch over to the VR app. In fact, I can get myself set up. Yeah, so all I really needed was just some permissions. Camera permission. And then these other ones for file, but that was just for reading a file from local. I don't really care about that. So it was just camera permission. That was the only thing special here. And then that's it. So let's go quit the project list. And go back to reading room. And on this project, I've got this little, I'm displaying an image here. Which, by the way, I wonder if camera texture, I think I used image texture. I wonder, no, that's camera texture. So anyway, now we're back into, like, these were the things, this is my to-do list of things to test. I've now knocked off several things from this list. So now I check permissions. I know how to use those plugins. I've got proper working code for using them that I know works. So I know the plugins themselves function. Yeah, so now I'm going to go take what I just learned from this morning, bring it back into this project, and see if maybe I can get this working in VR. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out for whoever was here. Special thanks to Galaxy the Foxhunt and Leaf Episode. All right, see you later.